I'm so grateful to not have flu. That it's all good right now.
There
It's gonna be fun. Hey everybody, it's Cinnamon Cooney, your Art Sherpa. Welcome to this live lesson. If you're catching the replay, I'm really glad to have you guys too. This is a really exciting heart party event to come to. We're going to be doing this Misty Morning Lake. So can you guys see this beautiful painting? I did this, ooh, that's hot today. I did this on Periscope and it was so liked, I thought it would make a really great lesson here on Heart Party, especially covering today's topic. It's a very exciting topic, which is art breakthroughs, right? How to go from this white canvas to successful paintings. The real way that you actually get to do that, I've got a whole bunch of mind-blowing stuff to share with you today. That's gonna, I hope later I'm gonna be hearing from you guys going like, you totally changed my whole art practice. Now, insider tip, you notice we broadcast a little later today. It is because we moved the entire studio, which is, I don't know, like 12 lights and 100 cables and some very complicated broadcasting box equipment. And literally when you unplug the stuff and plug it back in, you're just sort of wishing to the broadcasting YouTube fairies that anything even goes out live. So I hope this is finding you okay today. You can see that we've got a 20 by 20 inch artist canvas. It's the gallery wrap that they have over there at Michael's, which was inexpensive and on sale today. Level 2, if you can see this, it's got this a nice tucked staple on the back. I don't actually think that this saves you from having to frame on these thin stretchers. I think that only on the thick stretchers are you totally spared framing. But this is a big raging art debate. Ooh, that toxic new canvas smell. It's actually not toxic, but there's definitely a smell to the gesso when it's freshly revealed. I'm going to be painting Teclon brushes today by Creative Mark. Ebony Splendor. This is not sponsored. I just happen to have an unopened package that I have put aside for a future giveaway. So these will be somebody's in the future, which I'm pretty excited about. Sippy Sippy in honor of our own Mark. Zombie virus, because I didn't get a zombie painting in and I really owe him something. And he's been hanging there for me. And some unusual colors today. While I'm putting out the colors and talking about it, we've got two wishes that are going to be going on our canvas. This is burnt umber today. Burnt umber instead of burnt sienna. So we burnt these two browns. Burnt umber is the brown I've got here. I've also got cadmium orange. This comes in a hue too. Listen. You can do this with my regular palette. Some of you have just been, actually quite a lot of you have been asking for some new paint colors to look at and think about. And when I did this painting, I did them with some new colors. Prussian blue. In the comments I talked about sometimes this goes by some other name, but this does not have the blue shade, green shade, red shade nonsense.
Could you hold some of those up? They were wanting to see those.
Okay. I have these in the description. See there, Prussian blue.
Yeah.
In the description, I put paint colors. I might have put alizarin crimson in there, and I couldn't find it today, so I don't think we're painting with it.
Okay.
Because we moved the studio, and that's just one of those things that happens. My favorite color ever, Australian Sienna. Only paired by my other favorite color that I really love from this company, Southern Ocean Blue. I think those colors will break through your ocean studies in a way that will blow your mind. I've got the usual cadmium yellow, right?
Ooh.
Cadmium yellow.
Can you scoot the palette up just a little bit? You see there, it's just...
It's really hot on my camera. Can you guys see it at all?
Yeah, it looks really... It's...
Is it this way you need it, or this way?
Keep going. Keep going.
Okay, it's getting into some stuff I can't move.
Okay. I think you're okay there. We may need to zoom that camera out a little bit.
Something's happening here. I've got some phthalo blue. I might get into it. I'm not going to put it out unless I think I need it. If you've got yours, keep it out. two kinds of white. I've got titanium white and zinc white. And I bet some of you have been wondering, what is the difference between titanium white and zinc white and mixing white? So real simply like this, zinc white is a translucent white, traditionally used originally in oil paintings, and it is to do with the crazing that they made a fancy word for, which just means the paint broke down, which we now consider a beautification system. I can put my zinc white and my titanium white next to each other because I can actually see the difference. If you can't easily see the difference, my recommendation to you is to label one with a Z and a Sharpie pen like near it on the paper palette, which is just a Strathmore paper palette for acrylic. And then I've got cadmium red, which you can get in a hue as well. You don't have to buy the full cadmium. That's a place that you can absolutely save money. I've got Dogzanine purple. And these are all in the description down there. Got my cup of water because this is acrylic paint, and acrylic paint is water based. Got a rag and an acrylic pencil and some painter's tape just to make my horizon line easier. So how is everybody doing today?
Wow, there's a lot going on out there.
Is there a lot? I noticed you guys were really chatty Cathy's, and I kind of even felt weird getting in there and chatting like I'm disturbing you.
Well, I think Stephanie said she was just getting over her flu.
I relate to that, Stephanie.
So,
me too.
And I think Mark may be a little under the weather too, because there's people wishing Mark well. So.
If I gave this all to y'all in some sort of weird cyber virus when we were talking or an art game or something, I apologize.
Mona says she really likes your hair.
Thank you, Mona. I appreciate that. That is Melissa over at Dave and Cruz here in Humble. She does these crazy things for me. I give her pictures from Pinterest.
There's so many people out here. It's so,
John's over here now. I can actually see him with my eyes through the two computer cracks. So we've I don't know, I'll do scope about this or something. Sorry.
We've already got over 50 people out here today.
50 people out here. So 50 people today get to find out the secrets of art breakthroughs.
Ooh.
How to prevent an art ceiling.
And what about our wishes?
We're going to do some wishes.
There's lots of people asking about our wishes.
So I have a very important wish. Hijinks, our own Hijinks, wants us all to wish that she's able to work from home. So we're going to wish that for her. And another important wish, our own Janine needs a liver. That's not something I know a whole lot about, other than from what I've gotten from hospital dramas. But I feel like it's very hard to get a liver or find support to get a liver, and I think that this surgery has changed up. But one of the hardest things is to find a match or get the word out there or do anything about that. So if you know something about this journey, if you have some advice, if you have some help, if you can just send her thoughts and prayers, there's in the description a link to her Facebook page about this. I cannot imagine.
It's a kidney, yeah?
Is it a kidney?
I believe it was a kidney.
I thought it was a liver.
Yeah, Janine needs a kidney.
One of those. So we're now really drilled down to why I didn't go to medical school. Right here. She needs a kidney.
But we have lots of love.
But we have love.
So
I think, you know what, I think the powers that be understand what our prayers are actually about, and they adjust for that, and they're like, no, Sherpa, Janine needs a kidney. But we got your love energy, and we're working on it. So this is what we really want the universe. So if you know something about needing a kidney. Yeah. Anyways,
Or if you have a spare kidney, Janine needs one.
What?
Well, you never know.
That's right. You don't, and it's impossible to get the word out on Facebook, so I thought I'd share this with everybody, because we've all known Janine a while, and we certainly want her to have a kidney.
Yep.
Definitely. I wish the 3D printers were printing them.
They're working on it.
All right, so we're going to put that in there.
Yep.
I hope the angels and all the powers of the universe, it doesn't even have to make sense. I just would love to hear from her that she has gotten a kidney and she is all better. That's my wish there. She gets a kidney and she's all better.
Yep, I wish that too.
Do we have another wish in the comments that we didn't need to do?
I think I saw some wishes to get over some sicknesses like pneumonia and flu.
During this like whole colder flu season, I'm gonna wish that the entire heart party community, everyone who watches these videos, it's like I don't know, an art flu shot, and we're just more immune. Everyone gets better.
Yes.
Heals faster and gets better. That's what I wish for you guys.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now, today's lesson has got some stuff to it. First thing I'm going to do while I'm telling you what this stuff is about on this big white canvas is about a third of this canvas up, right? About a third. I'm going to say about 6 inches up. I'm going to make a mark, and on this side I'm going to make a mark. Yeah, John, I hear you take a breath in.
I think that, so Mona just said that Jane's aunt just had surgery today.
Whose aunt?
Jane's.
So we're going to wish that Jane's aunt...
Jane W., yeah.
Yeah.
She had spinal surgery.
Recovers
yeah.
and heals quickly.
And, oh, and hold on, there's some quick scrolling up here. I'm going to try to get it. It's going so fast.
Oh, okay.
And it said, and I guess we had some return positive news from past wishes. Kelly's husband got the job that we wished for. So
Power of the hardest. That's right. You did that. Got the job. That's exciting. Thank you. Yes, if any of these wishes come true, please come back and share with us.
And Kim Sim says that her carpenter had good luck after his wish as well. So
that is really good to hear. I have artist tape from Michaels. It's cheap, and no, you don't want to use other tape. This tape gives you a nice seal and prevents bleeding. And this is going to give me a nice horizon line.
I really like this tape too.
To work, yeah, you are very fond of this tape to work from. So I've got this taped out, and this means I can put in my sky up here. I'm going to take my zombie virus sippy sippy. For Mark, and then I'm celebrating the end of my flu. And I'm going to start painting with a 1-inch Filbert. The background, which is going to be a small amount of Cad Red and some of this Australian Sienna. If you don't have Australian Sienna, just use the Cad Yellow and some white. Get a little more red if you need to. This needs to be more to the peach than anything else, and start just putting this in. So here's the deal as I go brushing on this white canvas. What makes a painter have breakthroughs to prevent ceilings in their skill sets is the belief when they start a project that it's possible for them to do the project.
Mm-hmm.
When they're looking at this white canvas, I'm not in a panic. That looks really yellow on the screen without any hint of pink. I'm worried about that. Like...
Oh, see,
color balance is just...
I know, the color's really rough on that one on the close-up camera today.
It's just moving cameras is
so tough.
Dangerous.
It is.
And I'm not loving it. This is more of a pinky peach.
Yep.
See, when we move the studio, we believe there's some hope that we're going to be able to hook it all back up.
You know what we can do, though? I'm going to let you grab some more color, then we'll come over there and we'll...
You do it?
See if we can...
Yeah, John's going to come over and do this. So I want to share to you, those of you that have grown up in the video game age, from coin-op on, right, from the arcades on, you've learned a very important set of skills that you may not be utilizing, that you might not be tapping into. And that is that when you start a video game, you don't begin that journey assuming that there's no way to win that game. You start a video game journey assuming that the creators and the designers and the people involved in the production of that game have planned some kind of path through. So if you're playing Resident Evil and you wake up in a zombie-infested universe.
Like this one.
Yeah, like this one right here that John just created for us, where the color is not balanced at all. Make me yellow in this color good. So, I don't know. It's just, I could be taken out into a weird color. What is with it today?
I think that we're just...
You know what? It's that we moved these lights.
We did. We're going to have to pull some different lights around.
We're going to have to change our lights around. So here's the deal. So you wake up in the zombie-infested universe, and you're running around and you're playing, right? But you assume that they've hidden a gun for you. You've assumed that there's power-ups and healing buffers. You make an assumption when you begin playing this game that somewhere in here is a path for you to succeed. And you process that very differently. But in life, we wake up in the morning assuming that there is no plan, that there is no power-up, and there's no way for us to succeed. That's how we begin our day in real life. And when we go up to a canvas, as artists, often we are not beginning this journey assuming that during this process we will find our way through. A lot of times we approach this canvas, this empty space, with a huge amount of anxiety and trepidation about what is happening here. And I like talking about this in a dawn scenario, because this is a dawn painting. So this is an idea that might be dawning on you. Are you beginning your art journey or your life journey with the assumption that somewhere in the room there's a healing potion, or that there's the weapon that you need, or that there's the gem for you to mine and trade? Right? I mean, some of these universes, some of these MMOs are huge. They're ginormous. It's very challenging to find these items that the creators of those games have hidden for you. Right? In a painting, it can be challenging to develop the set of art skills. This looks just really orange instead of peach.
I think that
is this maybe this monitor's wrong.
I think we're okay.
You're okay? All right.
I think we're better now.
We're better now. See, we assume there's some way for us to adjust our cameras. Right, I'm just putting this first layer of peach in here a little bit. We're going to come back and work this a little bit. We're going to spend a little time together today talking about these kinds of things, and I just want to have this peach underlay before we start building up the sky.
Yeah, it's looking pretty good on the monitor over here.
Is it looking pretty good on the monitor?
I think that the monitor you have, and it's we're still going to have to tune this a little bit, but you know, we're getting closer. When
I was in art school, when I was a young undeveloped artist, I didn't understand about this ceiling that could happen in art, where my self-limiting thoughts could blind me to the possibilities. Even if I did an art practice every day.
Mm-hmm.
I could do an art practice every day and I could gain skills, but I was blinded to the possibilities. It'd be like, what if you played Resident Evil and just assumed there was nothing there to help you? I mean, like when John and I played, because we used to play together, you'd lift everything, knock over everything, look in everything.
Yep.
Just like scouring the earth and you were finding stuff all the time. But it's because we began that journey, first time playing, no idea what that game was about. But we began that journey waking up as Alice, assuming there would be a way.
Yep.
And there's nothing else in that game that gives you any indication that you're going to get out of there alive. Pretty much everything else in that game is like certain death. You know? And I don't know if you guys can think back to that. Right? But that was a pretty new kind of game, new kind of play style. When we all first logged on to the first MMOs, we assumed that there was a way through, that the things that we needed would be planted there, so we were not blind to them. So the next step in an art process is to assume there's a way. To get to a place where you're mentally tipping over pots, and looking inside and under everything. Now I'm pulling a little more of this Australian Sienna. And again, you could have done this all with cad yellow. We're just playing with some new colors today because you guys asked. When I began my YouTube journey, that was a very crazy thing to do. I am not, you know, sub 30 size to, you know, ingenue, playing video games. Not that that's not awesome, because that's an awesome thing to be. But I'm saying that's not what I was. Not what I am. I'm probably not going to suddenly become that like Benjamin Button. I'm going to be me. But I had to assume that when I began this journey, that there would be a way for me to do this YouTube thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I want everyone to start paying attention in their painting process to the self-limiting thinking in creativity. Because if you start a journey thinking, I'm never going to figure out that technique, or I can't do it, or there's no way, you're almost literally denying your artistic self. Not to get up on the soapbox today, but I'm kind of on it.
Yeah, don't deny yourself, your artistic self.
Deny it.
Don't.
And there's probably 5 or 6 or an infinite number of ways to get a goal accomplished in a painting.
And I mean, so there are so many people out there today.
How many people are out there today?
So I think we got like there's over 50 now, 54. But I mean, like just a bunch of people that I see coming by. Maricha's here.
Hi, Maricha.
Medina. I saw Karen and Chuck came in. Chuck's here.
Chuck,
Rose
thank you
is
for my
here.
cute, adorable graphic for my lower thirds.
Official Panda.
Hi, Pete.
And gosh, Rhea, Shelly. Just there's so many. It's like there's just a slew of people scrolling by. It's real hard to keep up.
Well, you know, you guys are having your own experience. You're probably talking about
color.
They're
talking about CAD colors.
CAD colors. I know. I'm so Bob Ross that I've got us all up in the cadmiums. But you know what? Cadmium is just better. And I'm really hoping it turns out not to be a problem, because I like it a lot. I mean, a lot of artists really feel strongly that we like the cadmium. So, I mean, we've made a lot of videos with it. So I hope it continues on.
Yep.
Yeah, but that's okay. You know what it is? There's always some other color that you could get in there. You could get, you know, another color that you would find that would give you a similar yellow. I'm just taking my tape off and flinging it to the side. So I have this upper canvas done, and now I can do this lower canvas. And we're going to start, I'm going to get a bright going.
A bright. Which bright?
I'm feeling this bright. This is a Pro Stroke number 12 Natural Bristle Bright.
Ooh, okay.
Ooh.
It's a big
but
one.
It's still going to let me come along this edge here. I can't see that. I will move my little thing. It'll let me come along this edge here and follow my nice line easily to put in my water. So I'm going to get my brush a little bit wet, and I'm going to get a little purple pulled out. I'm going to get a little red into my purple. Little red into my purple, and I'm going to come get some white into it.
You struck a chord with Jude in your thinking outside the box.
Yeah.
She profoundly agrees.
It is the most important thing in anything you're doing to begin that journey, believing that within you, right? Because if you play a character in a video game, you assume that character has the skills that are going to be required to accomplish the goal, don't you?
Yes.
Yeah, we don't start playing Lara Croft and then just figure this girl can't jump a ravine. First ravine we see, we go, surely she can jump this ravine, or why would it be here?
And then you play Mega Man and you find out that ravine was there.
For a reason. But even Mega Man, we assume Mega Man has abilities to get through the game.
Yes.
And Mega Man teaches us by playing it that he does. He's not ever, nobody makes the game so that you can't get through it. But we're living our lives. We're all living our lives. We're waking up, assuming the deck is stacked against us, that we're missing the skills required, and that the ravine is further than we'll ever be able to jump. Creatively, emotionally, And we all have days like that. We all have moments like that. You have moments like that in a game, don't you? Where the levels are hard and the level boss is difficult. And you think to yourself, I am never, ever going to figure out how to overcome this thing. And that's what Sherpas are for, because Sherpas are like cheat codes. I'm like your cheat code.
Yeah.
I'm going to help you figure out where those blocks are and how you can get through them.
So someone was asking,
By the way, I'm loving this number 2 canvas here for Michael's.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, loving it.
Is it
it's
good?
Painting like a dream. Completely different experience than their number 1 5-pack. Just saying.
So there were some of our community was curious what your astrological sign was.
I am a Cancer. I'm actually a triple Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Stars. Pretty much my horoscope says everything is great and awesome. Every day. It's sort of a joy. But I'd say I'm fairly atypical of my sign. Now, another thing that I'm doing when I'm working this is I'm pulling across, which is creating an implied brush stroke, a streaking, which hopefully you can see on the up close cam.
Yeah.
Yep. And that lets us know that this is water. That helps us define our illusion. Right? As we're going through, and I might need a little more water on my brush. My brush is a little bit dry. Assume there is a way for you to do it. You will be more successful. You won't always succeed. There are times when my painting is completely bomb. John has been here in the studio when it's happened. It happens. It happens to everybody. You know, and that's just, I kind of look at that as like when you're playing a level and you fail out of that. Try next painting, learn your lessons. You'll hit those rhythms better that next time. And pulling as level as I can.
Looks good.
It looks good. Looks good, feels good, makes the day more beautiful. We were real frazzled today because I'm coming off a flu, which I'm all better now. And John moved the studio by himself. And whenever we move the studio, there's adventuresome things that happen. Like no internet or
Well,
light issues or who knows what the settings of the camera. You can't just move these lights because apparently it just changes everything.
Yep. Well, we've been broadcasting live in 1020, and
Really?
yeah.
I
No,
thought
no,
we
no,
weren't going to
no.
be able to do that
Well,
yet.
we're doing it. So we're doing it. We've been doing it in 720, but we're going to go to 1080 hopefully tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
We're going to test those out, and
Yeah.
then hopefully that will be worked out by Thursday for the Blue Lion.
So there were
I don't have a hair dryer, so we can answer questions right now.
a good question would be about whites, mixing whites. What's
Yeah.
the difference and
So
how do you
mixing
use
white
them?
is titanium white and zinc white. It's mixing white. So it's got a little opacity and a little transparency, and it will knock down things, right? Because sometimes for some color mixtures, titanium white can really overwhelm people. But zinc white is a tint. So you keep very little color in zinc white causes it to change. I'm not actually in general in whites, I'm sure you've noticed that. But zinc is especially susceptible and it's see-through. So if you're trying to do atmospheric perspectives like fogs or mist coming off something, it's your ideal. It's your ideal. But you can do mixing white, and if you have mixing white and not zinc, it will get you through this.
Gotcha.
Makes this little pop every time. I'm drinking the ginger ale that Todd Graham gave me. He gave me the emergency beer in that one pumpkin episode. This is his ginger ale from the same place that made the emergency beer.
I have some emergency beer staring right at me.
You do. We really enjoyed that emergency beer. We didn't even drink all of it.
No, I gotta save some for an emergency.
All right. I'm going to get another big Filbert. You might be using the same Filbert and washing it out and drying it off.
What makes it a filbert?
Because it's, oh, got some paint on it. It is round.
Yeah.
It's rounded at the tip. Let's see if this will work.
Yep, it's because we don't have the backlight on there yet.
What is it?
Remember we had that, we just have more lights we have to put up. More lights.
I don't know what is going on in the studio today, but we're going to work it out.
We're going to do it.
We're going to do it. So over here, right, in this lower thirds here, upper thirds, this is not a lower third, this is an upper third. I'm going to start lightening my sky, and I'm going to take a little bit of my Australian Sienna out, and I'm going to pull a little of my titanium white into it. Now, you could do cad yellow, couldn't you? You
Yes,
could, and it would be fine. It would be totally acceptable and not a problem. But in this particular case, that is the alarm that says my daughter is getting off the bus. So that's what that is, and I guess that's how we feel about that. Oh no, honey's on her way home, batten down the hatches. So I'm just kind of doing like a hashing stroke here, right here, planting this in. There's going to be some more I come in and say here, but I just want to come and say there's some light here, there's some mist here. Now, an interesting thing you can do is you can pick up your zinc right now and start blending, and you're going to get that oil effect. I will go through quite a lot of zinc in this painting. And I just went up there with straight zinc, but it starts to blend it out and create this really wonderful effect. And I'm a fan of the effect.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to get a little of my cad and a little of my, maybe some zinc this time. I'm going to come up here and I need more white into that. And you're just going to be working this beautiful misty sky. Working this beautiful misty sky. Beautiful misty sky. Now I picked up some purple and I went with that, and I want you to do that in the sky. If you're picking up some colors, and see how I'm doing this crosshatch into the stroke, this is where this painting happens. It is in this sort of mishmash that I'm working, and I'm going to be going through a lot, and I mean a lot of white. Now what's wonderful is, as I'm painting, where the gray, where the purple and the yellow start to get together, I get a really wonderful grayed out color, which also kind of informs the muted colors of dawn. And so these can feel really challenging when you're a new artist, but this is just all color theory, and there is a path. This is a much bigger painting than the first one I did, so physically I'm really feeling it, because this is a 20 by 20 square, because I wanted you to really be able to see what I was doing, and I didn't really think about
It's a lot of paint.
Whew, it's a lot of paint.
So there was a question about that giant white paintbrush down there.
The giant one.
Oh yeah, right. I think it was Kim.
This?
Yes, that one.
This one. This is a 24 Pro Stroke.
Yep.
I have a whole grip in the size range.
She was just like, what is? Oh, that one's nice looking too.
Get a bunch of these.
Who was it that was asking about that? I saw it scroll by.
Because I paint big a
Nikki.
lot of the time.
Nikki asked about it.
I paint really large a lot of the time. And when you're painting a big canvas, your brushes need to get bigger. Don't paint a big giant canvas with little tiny brushes. That's going to be...
And Wanda said hello.
Hi, Wanda. So I'm going to get some of this purple and really mix it into my white. Going to really mix it in my white. I'm going to go through a lot of paint. You know, hopefully I got in the description, you guys were, you know, in the, I could do a 10 by 10 canvas. I could any size canvas. The first one I think I did of this was like a 6x6.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, the sizes are up to you.
You should pull your close-up camera down a little bit.
Yeah, I should. Thank
The
you for
nausea
catching
cam.
that for me. So I've got this sort of blue, purple tone going here. Come back into my Australian Sienna and my white.
You should. Which white was that?
Just the titanium white.
Just titanium white.
Yeah, I'll tell you when I'm switching into the zincs. And you'll know when you've accidentally grabbed the zinc because it'll suddenly lose the ability to cover.
Oh.
And you're going to be like, what's happening? Got the wrong white. But you got to have adventures. You know, here, I'm going to show you what a little cad, we'll just do the little cad yellow
Mm-hmm.
and cad red, just in case that's what you're painting with today. I'm just making sure I got a lot of white there. See, it's not going to mess with you. It's not going to mess you up. Works just as well. You know, I love that you guys, a lot of you guys have caught the sale for the Matisse paint at Jerry's. Not a sponsored video. Nobody at Jerry's talks to me.
Karen just bit the bullet and went in and bought a bunch of gold and Liquitex.
Gold and Liquitex, yeah, it'll work, man. If you can catch those sales, it is so worth doing. So are we catching how this sky is starting to come together in that crazy dappled light? I used to love, you'll see California painters will do this work a lot.
Mm-hmm.
They will come in and they will do this work a lot.
And if everyone could take the time to like, comment, and subscribe. And
yeah.
Please share.
Share
this up on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, on all your social media sites. Get your friends in here with us so we can have a bigger party. That's what really will help us out a lot. You know,
I think that will help us out a lot. And we're
show your
sorry
pictures.
about that the one broadcast that didn't, the after party that didn't make it up.
The after party that didn't happen.
The after party that didn't happen. Sometimes on those Live Now events, I don't know, we just do something wrong or something, and that one just didn't go up.
It didn't work right.
So John did not take back the feather.
We still have it.
We still have it. We're still going to give it away. We're still going to talk about all of that, and we're going to just sort of do a redo.
Mm-hmm.
Like reality TV. We'll just keep being surprised. So I'm going to out John here. And then you guys are going to use your Google. John, you guys might not know this, is famous.
Oh, no.
He's like saying, please don't do this.
You should not do that.
But John is totally famous. He was on TV.
Yeah.
Who here would like to know what John was famous for and on TV for?
No one. I think, oh, look at this. All of a sudden we're having error. It's gone to black. I don't know what's happening. We're going to have to, we'll be back.
He's almost gotten away from this, so I'm going to pull him back in because that's the pleasure that is being a wife. John was on Extreme Makeover Season 1.
Oh,
I'm just going to let y'all react to that.
It was technically Season 2 because Season 1 was only 1.5 to 3 episodes. It was a three people in a 1 hour special. So that was the first full season of Extreme
So
Makeover.
would anybody like to know the story of how the long journey of why John really didn't need an Extreme Makeover at all ended up on Extreme Makeover?
It's like crickets. They're actually curious about the paint, about CAD.
I don't think they are. I think they're
titanium.
curious about Extreme Makeover and they're Googling it. And I think you're lying.
No, I'm there's a lot of questions about paint happening out here.
Okay. So no, because I'm going to hear about it later on Facebook. You know that, right?
Well, yeah, I know you'll hear about it.
So,
and Witzel hit the Hobby Lobby clearance rack and got lots of
just
tons
like
of good stuff.
nobody needs to talk about Extreme Makeover. I think that's wonderful that Witzel hit the Hobby Lobby clearance rack, and that is a great, you know what, that's how I get all my paints. That's how I afford it, is I hit sales. I buy what I like to paint with, but I hit the sales. And that's how I get the balance between my budget and the paint I want. So yes, John Extreme Makeover. You can Google it, John Cooney Extreme Makeover, and you'll pull it up.
I don't know that you will. I think that
No, I've actually checked recently.
Have you?
Yeah, you're still there. You can't really scrub the internet. John's mom had gone through a recent breakup, and I had just seen the show, and I'd had this idea that like the best way to get over that would be to get a new set of everything, just like get a do-over. And we were in our first video game company, so we were starting out.
It's my second company.
Was it second?
Yeah, it was Roxor.
It was Roxor. And so we thought, oh, well, that could be some good publicity, because we didn't know anything about anything at the time. So it was like innocent. We were like, oh, we'd totally be mentioned on TV. That would be really good. And John had wanted to get some LASIK surgery because he was wearing glasses at the time, but he was very nervous about just going to whoever. And he'd been saying like, well, I'd go to somebody, but I'd want to go to like a really good doctor. And we just weren't able to swing that at the time because we had a video game startup, so that doesn't really pay well. I think Silicon Valley is the first one that gives somewhat of an accurate portrayal of like how long you'd be broke. Yeah. So I was like, you know, what would be really helpful, John, is you'd be a very good son if you would, because there's nothing wrong with how John looked at all. It was like, but you should go on there and, you know, go on with your mother and be mother and son, and then she'll have somebody with her, you know, through that journey. Mm-hmm. And also, on a side note, John had been growing out his hair to donate to Locks of Love. And how long was it, John?
It was down past my belt.
Down past his belt. And the ponytail was like this thick. It was insane. It was this thick. So we thought, well, we could get some Locks of Love publicity and stuff like that. So that we sent in a video, and we put a bunch of stickers, like True Crafters, like True Creatives, on the envelope and sent it in. And we got a call, didn't we?
Yep.
But you were, at first you were like, no, because they, his mom got disqualified because they didn't think she could handle the surgery.
Well, so it
health-wise or something.
Yeah. So when they had sent out the request, it was, you know, mothers, daughters, sisters, best friends. If you have an idea for a show, submit, right? And you guys had sent in the idea of this mother-son. Mm-hmm. And so we took a bunch of video of us in the SCA, Society of Creative Anachronism. That's basically medieval LARPing, just to show you how deep in the dark forest we were living at the time. Yeah. Not that we've ever moved out. No. We're pretty much still residents. So, yeah, no, they called up and they were like, hey, so we want you to be on the show. And I was like, well, cool. What did my mom say when you told her? Like, oh, we have lots of women in your mom's demographic. We don't have, you know, any men who are applying. And I was like, oh, well, that's cool. I wasn't really, you know, myself terribly interested, but thank you anyway.
So we said no. Well, John said no. He's like, no. No. And I was like, you just gave up free dental. That's free dental.
So yeah, they called back and said, well, what would it take for you to go on? And I was like, I don't know. I was like, well, you know, I kind of wanted LASIK surgery, but I didn't want just, you know, any LASIK surgery. It was kind of important where I got it from. And they said, all right, well, look, we'll call you back.
Oh, and didn't you also say that they had to promote Locks of Love?
That was later.
Yeah, that was later. Yeah. Okay. I'm getting some more white. So if you guys see this here, what I'm doing is I'm just picking up white and I'm varying up the tones while John is recounting the tale to surgery. So sometimes it's lighter, sometimes it's more yellow, and that's how I'm patching this in. John, continue the road.
I don't know. I mean, so
to extreme makeover.
You know, so they wanted, you know, so they called back and they're like, okay, so we've got the top doctor in the country, this doctor named Dr. Maloney, who helped create Wave LASIK and some other technologies for LASIK surgery, and he agreed to do the surgery for my eyes if I came out. And so I was like, all right, well, that's, you know, that in and of itself was enough to sort of like tip it over for me. So, yeah.
So then he tells them that, but they also have to get something going with Locks of Love.
Yeah, I was like, but I grew my hair out, and if you cut my hair, then it has to go to Locks of Love because that's where.
And you have to do something to raise awareness for them.
Right.
So apparently we're like.
Yeah, we were one of the first people who asked for anything like that.
We're tree huggers. I don't know what to tell you. So, they say they're coming into Houston and they're trying out some people, and if we'd like, they might come and look at us. Maybe, possibly, they're not really sure. So John's mom at this point is like, you gotta go, you gotta go, you gotta go. And his video game partner's like, dude, if you can get 20 seconds on TV to even say the name of the game, it is worth whatever you have to go through. Like, it wasn't even, like, nobody even stopped to ask, like, should he go or should he not go? It was really funny. And at the time we were trying to get pregnant, we'd been going through, like, a bunch with that, going through fertility treatments and everything. So it was, like, in the middle of that, so we were having to agree to stop trying, to have a child. And I don't know if anybody knows what that's like, but that can be really intense because when you're trying to have a kid and you're not having a kid, you're just going bananas. And so they end up coming, and the producer's there, and they meet everybody, and we take some goofy film, and our friends come out and they sword fight. And we walk around and we're like, gosh, this is really weird. Like, nobody knows what to make of it. Nobody has any idea. And a bunch of our friends come and we all decide to play Pictionary.
Uh-huh.
And my friend Matt Adams was there. He's big time into art. I'll have him on the show sometime just for you guys' joy. And the lady who's the producer, she's like drawing on there. It's Nicole, right? It's Nicole?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay. And so she's drawing and everything. And I'm looking at this thing, and I'm the Art Sherpa. I'm very loving about people's art, but I have no idea what this woman is drawing. I'm like, this is like a Rorschach test that's going on up there. I'm like, I've got no clue. I'm not getting. And all of a sudden, Matt, who's not that visually like that, goes, "You're on Extreme Makeover," and that's how they told us.
Yep.
And apparently, they had told all of our friends that we were on the show, and the whole thing about it being a tryout was just a complete lie. And she was actually the head of the Locks of Love.
Yep.
Not a producer.
Not a producer, yeah.
And they cut his hair right there, and it went right into the program.
Yep.
And the whole episode did actually feature Locks of Love very heavily. I was super happy with that.
Yep, that was pretty cool.
And then you had to go away for like 2 months.
Yep.
2 months of no John.
Where are you going? You keep going over there, and
I'm sorry, I keep thinking I'm going to put out paint.
Okay, well, you keep going to put
All
out
right,
paint.
I'll finish this, and then I'll go put out paint, and then we're going to get a bunch of thumbs down because I talked too long. But you guys are catching up to what I'm doing. So he went and he did that whole thing, and the reveal was really funny because, like, they let him drive up in a Lamborghini, and they had straightened his hair, and they tanned him and dyed his eyelash. It was like a whole bunch of stuff that they did. And then he walked out, and there was a whole bunch of us, and we were all genuinely surprised.
Yep.
We were all genuinely just like tripping out. But then they said, okay, can you do that again? They kept bringing him out, and we all kept having to be surprised again and again, like the 6th time. Everybody's like looking at each other like, I don't know, I can be that enthusiastic again. But it was really good. And then the little girl, we ended up knowing her, and it was like life-changing. Like, it completely changed, I'm sorry, her life. John's telling me I got to get back to painting because people are like, what is happening? And so you can Google that, and you can see our dorkiness. All right, so I've got this in. I'm going to work this little space here just a titch more, and I'm going to get a small bright now.
A small bright.
This is like a 1/2 inch bright. And I'm going to do something kind of crazy here. I'm going to get a little of my cad orange. Now you can mix orange with your cad yellow and your cad red. And just in case you're wondering if you would get the exact same orange, you wouldn't. And I'm going to try to pull out some cad yellow over here. Get a scotch of cad red. So you can see it's not quite the same orange. It's still a really good orange though.
Yep.
You know, it's not like it's a bad orange. And I'm going to just lightly add this crisscrossing.
You want to zoom in on that?
I'm going to try of this bright color right here. Just a little bit. Get a little more zinc. Because I want it to be very translucent. See how that zinc helps me make that color not quite as pigmented. Because you want a very atmospheric effect. So I'm sorry I kidnapped y'all into that story. I just had to out John.
They're thanking you a lot in there. Everyone thought that was really nice of you to share.
Well, because you every time you think you've gotten out of it, I just like to bring it back into your life.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, there's nothing like being caught on a 3.5-hour flight when they air your episode. Yeah, I tell you what, that's interesting.
Sorry. Life's journeys.
It's interesting, It's funny when people they'll think they recognize you and they'll squint and they'll look at you, and then and they're like, I know you, and you're like, you shake your head, no, you don't know me, and then they're like, I do know you. You're like, no, you don't know me.
There was a whole period he was really struggling at the grocery store because you were on tabloids or something, weren't you?
Yeah.
That was really surreal. I had a kind of anti-paparazzi feeling before this whole thing, but like after going through seeing him have to deal with being on a tabloid,
it was kind of funny.
And it was positive. Like all of our stuff was positive. So I was like,
positive.
how does anyone, I'm pulling out a bunch of white here. I'm going to get a scotch of yellow, just a smidge.
I may come zoom that one out because you can't see the yellows back down there.
You can't see the yellow?
Yes, they're just a little bit outside that range.
Okay, I'll try to. Got the yellow here. Getting a little white. I want a little white in this because I don't want a bright pigment. And I'm going to put my little sun in here. I might even give you a big zoom on that. Whoa! Just painted the easel, babe. It's now got a little yellow. It's been embellished. And I'm going to just swirl my brush around and make this little dot. See, that's all it really takes. You're just telling a little bit of a story. And now I'm going to get a little more white.
Which white?
The titanium white, thank you. Titanium white. And I'm going to just add a little of this going out. Just telling the story of a sun shining through mist. So this is a weird episode today. I wonder how, I wonder how it's going to be received.
Everyone seems to be enjoying it. We got over 70 people out here.
We got 70 people
and
putting
77
up with us.
thumbs up.
77 thumbs up. Y'all are the best at thumbing up.
Actually, I should refresh because that was the number of thumbs up from a while ago.
Oh, okay.
79 right now.
Thumbers.
We like those thumbs up.
We do. It means a lot to us.
Well, it's yeah. I mean, like this is what we do, is come out here and make these videos, and this is any of the ways you guys share and like and comment. That's how we know you like them.
It is.
Definitely post up pictures of the stuff you guys do. We want to see work. You want to see your artwork.
Yeah, please share. I love seeing it. I'm just adding a little of this here, kind of this sort of pattern that I'm making. And this is where this square brush really helps me. This is a fun technique to learn. It's fun to do landscapes. We're going to be doing a bunch of them. I hope you guys don't mind. I'm going to get some zinc, y'all. Getting some zinc.
Some zinc, y'all.
Zinc, y'all.
Only on the Sherpa Show.
No, it's not only on the Sherpa Show. The problem is living in Houston, you're almost escaping the accent, but then certain things it'll come out on. It shows.
Yes.
You're urban for like a minute. And then all of a sudden you're like, not that urban. So I'm pulling a little of the zinc up here. And a lot of the background will show through this. And that is really beautiful. Now, what could you do if you didn't have zinc? You could do your titanium white and a glazing medium. You could do your titanium white and a gel medium just to thin it out. What you'd want to do is just increase the transparency. That's what you're trying to do. It's just a little bit increase the transparency.
101 thumbs up.
101 thumbs up. That's bananas. B-A-N-A-N-A-S.
And don't hit the content ID.
Don't hit the content ID. What is that?
Content ID.
Well, why would we hit that?
Because the banana song.
Oh, do you think it is?
No, but I mean, it's the joke. you know.
Yeah. I am afraid of Content ID.
It's-
But I don't use any of Lucas's stuff, any of his music, and he seems to be like the most on the net looking.
Yeah, we don't even want to, like, you know.
Yeah. You won't even hear me start to sing the first 2 bars, man.
Oh.
No. I'll take on Tim Burton first. So you can kind of see how we're building all of that feeling up in the sky. And it feels misty. It's a little bit of work. I won't lie to you.
Yeah, we had someone saying that it's super misty in England today. Like they had some airplanes that couldn't take off, and she couldn't even see her shed from her garden window.
Oh, well, that's a perfect day to like study and observe mist.
Yeah, especially if you're in England.
If you're in England.
Take pictures, post them up on the page so we can all see what it looks
Oh,
like.
I forgot to mention this. I got this photo, and the link is in the description from Paint My Photo.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's a Paint My Photo. So if you wanted to look at the original picture, you could totally do that. And I wholly recommend joining that site. I recommend even more. I have donated money to them. But like where you can, donating money to them if you're using their pictures. Absolutely. Now I'm going to come in here. I'm going to get a little of the Australian Sienna and a little of the white. I'm going to make sure that I'm continuing this on. This is a lot of work. I would tell y'all, it is.
It's a big painting.
It's a big painting. It was not this much work when I did it on Periscope. So there's some exciting news in relationship to the Periscope, isn't there, John?
Is there? Tell us what it is.
Well, I was thinking that you should tell us what it is because you have the whole no art heart party paintings period whatever for sale.
I don't know even know what you're talking about. I just push buttons.
Huh?
You should adjust your close-up camera.
I should? I thought I did. No, I didn't. Okay. So as you know, John is keeping and protecting, getting some more of this little yellow that I've made over here. John is keeping and protecting the paintings that we do at Heart Party so that someday, for you guys, if you ever want to look at them, if you ever want to interact with them, they will always be there for you because so many of you have experiences. I'm in the zinc white now. Have experiences with them that are important and meaningful to you as you're going through your art journey. And one of the things when doing research on Bob Ross we found out is that most of his art collection was dispersed. You know, it was given to PBS and they kind of just dumped it. They didn't really treasure it. And now, even if you've been really impacted by Bob, it's not like you can go and see an exhibit of his work touring and see a painting that was maybe really important to you or important in your art journey. It's like it evaporated. So John's just wanting to make sure that that doesn't happen to you.
Yeah, so I'm collecting up all of the paintings from Heart Party, all the original ones that happen here on the air, and we don't sell them. They're put in storage, and whenever we do shows or events or things like that, we'll just bring them and have them on display and things. And the reason for that is that we've had a lot of people write in and they talk about the personal story, you know, their transformational stories and how they've gone through a lot of personal experiences.
I'm just going to interrupt and say I'm pulling zinc
Yeah.
while John's talking. I'm pulling zinc. That's what I'm doing right here. Pulling some zinc. John, keep talking. So
Yeah,
he's going to keep that for your transformational
We
stories.
should make sure we saw this. So yeah, I wanted to make sure that we keep those paintings so that when we go on to events and we start doing some location-based stuff, that as people can come and see them, they can come together and talk about the paintings and the experiences that they've had and share them with each other. And those paintings sort of belong to the community. So that's how we're going to try to keep them is so that you guys always have access to see those.
Yeah, and so they're yours. But I'm doing all this painting on Periscope, as many of you know. Sometimes I'm designing for the show, sometimes I'm just painting for me. And we had this really cool idea. I now have some of the paintings that I've done on Periscope on my Etsy store for sale. And John said that's completely okay because they're not going to be lessons. They're just me doing my art stuff because I've got to have my own personal art journey. I've got to work out my own personal art stuff. So those are up there. And what we're going to do with that, 100% of that, is we're going to take all the proceeds from that and get better cameras.
Yes, that's right. We're going to start doing our own little camera drive. And
it's our camera drive.
Yeah, so that we can get better color cameras.
That's all we're doing. It's 100% of what you see there and I'll be putting stuff up that I do on Periscope. If you love something on Periscope and you're like, I gotta have that, really, we're just gonna be like improving the equipment so that palette cam and up close cam has better color. Yeah. Because it's making us crazy.
Yep. Selling off a bunch of Chevy parts to buy Black Magic parts.
John is selling off his trucks. You guys probably don't know about all that, but he's selling off his truck stuff so we can buy more parts to just make this a better broadcast and get better color. I mean, nothing can fix the fact that I'm chatty, but we can improve the quality of the picture while I'm talking too much.
We're going to have better sound and better video while you're trapped here while we make silly stories and endlessly paint. That's this channel. If you don't like that, there's other ones right next door on YouTube that you can go check out.
Yeah, yeah. Silly talking and painting, though, is definitely happening here. I did get someone who was like, I like your painting, but you talk too much. That's
You're too happy.
Collected. That's a very silent activity, like a painting, but I talk too much, go buy a painting.
Yep.
That's quiet. All right, I'm looking for something. I want kind of, I'm going to get this Filbert.
Yep.
Right here. It's a brand new one, so I'm going to break it open.
You keep going down there like you're going to get dumped in it.
I'm messing with you. I'm going to get some fresh water.
So there were some, who was asking? Rhea, I think, was asking
Hi,
about
Rhea.
if we could put the periscopes on YouTube.
No.
No?
No.
Why?
I don't like the quality of them yet.
Oh. So,
and I like to be able to be up there and just be like, I'm nonsense on Periscope.
Yeah.
I don't have a you think I'm weird here.
What about
on Periscope? I'm a nah. I'm just painting. And
what about on Facebook? Can we put them on Facebook?
Facebook? I try to put them on Facebook.
Okay, so we can see the collection of periscopes on Facebook. Okay.
I am mixing a little of my Prussian blue and my burnt umber. Now you could get a grayed out color with your burnt sienna and your phthalo blue. It would be a little bit different, but you can get what we're trying for is a grayed out color. And I'm going to add a little zinc white to this. And then I'm going to, just above my horizon line on the right, let's make sure I have this sort of zeroed there. I'm going to be doing that little Jackie Chan wander that I like to do. I'm going to tell a little story. I have a little, I don't know if you guys live near man-made lakes. We do. Lake Houston's a man-made lake. You know, they just pretty much flood an area and whatever's there gets flooded. And there's this really cool kind of outcropping of trees that happens that are somehow they just continue on. And this is the story that's happening right here is a little island of these little trees that we have going on. Ugh, too much brown, and that's okay. Just getting the zinc white. And the zinc white does a nice little job of making this translucent and graying this out, which just continues telling this little story of a misty island. So I'm just kind of painting this in here. Once I have the shape in, I kind of work my brush stroke around. I'm going to get some more zinc. This up
You're
here.
fast. I didn't even get you.
You didn't even get me.
I was reading
what?
the comments. You were fast getting your zinc. It was just like.
I was just quick. I was too quick to the zinc.
zinc.
I was quick draw zinc.
I was reading comments.
By the way, I'm loving everybody's judgy chickens.
Oh, yes. Judgment
One,
chicken.
I love that y'all are like, here's my judgy chicken. My chicken's got so much judginess. I was like, I'm loving it. Because you know what? Roosters are actually judgy little you-know-whats, and I think that's actually just accurate. So I'm going to keep pulling this out here.
I want to come over and while you're doing that, take a look at something.
Okay, you can come over and look at something. I'm just pulling this out, and this is what this is where I'm going to be working this. And these brush strokes are all going to be very horizontal. I'm going to be very horizontal, and this is really about that there is, you know, kind of maybe a little shadow happening in the water. If you paint out your purple, all you've got to do is just remix that little color that you had made earlier, which is the cad red and the dog's knee purple. Get your white, Right, and then you can always come right back and add, see how you can just add that purple back? You can do that all day. All day.
So Jane just said that she got a text from her aunt that says she can feel her feet, and that's a good sign.
Woohoo! That is awesome. Heart party wishes are working in the universe. I am one of those people that I believe in prayers and wishes and good thoughts and goodwill and meditation. That's just a belief I choose to have. Makes me feel better about my universe. And I think you should pick beliefs that make you feel better about the universe you live in. I always feel bad when people pick beliefs that make them feel bad about where they live. Because no one's getting off the planet but one way right now. Space travel, a little far off. So we're all pretty much stuck here a little bit. I'm just enjoying this and pulling this down. If you need more of that purple, get that purple. You need to add a little brown to that purple. Work it out. Now, just, this is about muting the colors. So you got a little of that purple mixture over into my brown mixture, my zinc white. Now I'm getting a very clear, and I'm just pushing hard. So this is the opposite of that light brush pressure. I'm pushing hard into my canvas to work this in. So that is a lot of what I do in my art, is how hard am I pushing on the brush.
We've gone through different cycles of light cat pressure. We've had...
We really have had a lot of visitations of the pressure scenario. And we're going to add another coat, because I feel like it needs it, of paint to this ocean.
You should zoom in on that other side.
Zoom in on the other side.
Or just maybe back out the camera. Just
I think we need to back out the camera.
Yeah.
Well,
Whoa,
it's not
you're
backing
supposed to-
out, is it? That's the
There you
opposite
go.
of backing out. So there's how our little island is starting to resolve. And I'm going to get a little of my cad red, my dog's name purple, and my white. And I'm going to make sure, whoop, that's too much dog's name purple. And sometimes that'll happen, there'll be just like a strong pigment load on your brush. Just come back with color and blend it out. Make sure you continue your light. Oh, that's what it is, it's on the heel. See, that happens to me. But watch what I do, I'm going to get some just white.
Can you show what happened there on your, how with your brush, how that happened?
What it was is when I mixed it, it had built up on this edge here and I didn't catch it. On this edge here, it's gone now because I wiped it, but it built up there. And so when I pressed down, it deployed it onto the canvas. And just the difference between you guys and me is everybody else starts going, oh no, my painting's ruined. And I'm like, get white, blend it out. I feel like, do you remember the black crystal, John?
Yep.
The dark crystal.
Definitely.
Dark crystal, yeah. Do you remember the lady with the planetarium?
Oh, yeah.
I feel like her a lot of times. It's all good. Universe be fine. It's a weird one to relate to, and I'm not saying I'm at a crone stage of my life. But I think there's certainly something in my confidence, in my experience, that just tells me not to sweat the small stuff.
We have a predominant number of English with us today.
I love that we do.
We do.
Because you know what? They get the beauty of a muted landscape. I only say it as having been to your country. Boy, now I've started it.
I have enjoyed traveling the beautiful countrysides of England.
No, they are gorgeous. Right?
I particularly like Bath.
Yeah, they're gorgeous. Yeah, I'm just saying that you could start believing in a werewolf pretty quick.
There'd be some fog up there.
There's some fog and you hear some noises and you start thinking, you know, all those like sophisticated urban beliefs you have about like what exists and doesn't exist in the world, you start to question some of those. Like in Hawaii, you're not believing in a werewolf at all. You're not like thinking, I think there's probably a Hawaiian werewolf.
Hmm.
Even though there's probably a shark just waiting off the shore to eat you, so. And there's really nothing in England besides, you know, history and castles and really cool pubs. But not so much werewolves. Did we lose all our English viewers?
there's just a roar of I'm not English, I'm English. You know, people making fun and mocking and just generally having a good time.
I think my favorite thing, can I share my favorite thing about the English?
Sure.
My favorite thing is we've actually been blessed enough to have friends all over the world, is the acidic, biting sense of humor that comes from such a genuinely loving, real place. You know, and I think sometimes in my experience, this is just my experience, I can be totally wrong, you can tell me that I'm wrong. Sometimes Americans do not get those jokes. And they take stuff that I think is just uproariously funny, like the wrong way. And I personally love it. Like, I used to love Graham and Fergus. They just put me on the floor.
Yeah.
You know, and it does. It comes from just a really good place.
And then there's a fair number of people saying that they are not English, even though they are living in England or in Europe.
Oh, so are they
Well,
American expats?
You know, I'm only, you know, catching the comments sometimes. So there's a lot of European, you know, a lot of people from Europe that are out there. You know, Mona and there's also some people from Netherlands, Sweden, England. There's lots of European countries, not just English, but
No, and not everybody feels that happy about England.
No, well, yeah.
Because, again, history.
You know,
I love you guys, but just really took the flag thing too far.
Danes, they like to go on a good Vike too.
Just there was a whole lot of not staying home minding one's own business. I mean, I really want you to think how far you had to go for some of these, like, battles and things. I mean, think about it. The Crusades. Really comprehend how far that is to go, not in a jet plane.
Yeah.
It's just too far to even. I would just be like, yeah, I don't really care.
Yep.
I would be like, I just don't even care what they're doing over there.
Yeah, and by the time most of Europe got there, and they went, do you know we brought armor and clothes for winter in Europe, and this is desert.
Just not.
And this is not good. I mean, there were many crusades, but the ones that, you know, many of them involved Northern European stock going to hot, desolate places.
Like, why?
Not a good idea.
That's what I used to really like in history classes. I would really put myself in the place of, like, what it would be like to travel there.
Yeah.
Like, what that I rode horses. So, like, I know what it is to spend an entire day on a horse.
Yeah.
Right? You may not really think it like, or a train. Like, just even recently, just to have to get across anywhere on a train. And trains used to be slow. Steam trains were not fast.
Relatively.
Relatively to walking on foot.
Or taking a wagon.
Or taking a wagon. You know, where what you pulled could die. We were like that. We were traveling back from Canada. We took the long way home. And we're stopping at all the rest stops, like, to see where, you know, the settlers had gone. And there was, like, at some point we started to really relate.
Yeah.
Like, a lot. And we were just in a car with a newborn. I can't even imagine, like, what it would have been like in a wagon. Just saying. Or, like, on, like, an old-style boat. That's all pretty in a movie, and I like it. But being on it for long-term travel, you want a buffet.
Yeah. Although I have to say, I don't like traveling by train on the West Coast, but I do on the East Coast.
There you go. Faster trains. Better trains now, though, babe.
There's, well, on America's East Coast.
Oh, yeah. But still, we have faster trains than we did, like, 100 years ago. They're just a better train.
Yeah.
I am pulling a little of my burnt sienna and phthalo blue, and I'm really getting into my zinc. And I just want to pull a little bit of this up into my sky.
You want to pull a zoom in on that?
Yeah, I think I do. And I just really want it to be zinc heavy. And then we're going to do the trees. And I'm sorry I'm kind of puttering along today instead of cooking, so I don't know if that's bugging everybody.
They're all complaining. Mostly they're talking about Benny Hill and Ab Fab.
I love Absolutely Fabulous. Oh my gosh. Oh my, that was maybe like one of the best shows ever.
We didn't see that one coming.
You didn't see me liking Ab Fab? You know I like that.
I do know you like it.
You're being sarcastic.
Yes.
And you also were forced to watch a lot of it. Because if that was on, he was like, I don't understand what the point of the show is.
So
the show has no point.
It's interesting because Real Housewives has filled the hole of Ab Fab.
Yes, for me.
I wonder if that's true of the
I
rest
don't
of our
know.
audience.
I'm really loving Ladies of London too. That has been really good. Just for, you know, talking about being overseas. Just, I mean, like watching them. They have Danish royalty on there now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, which I
Well,
don't know how that happened, but
we had royalty at one point in Beverly Hills, right?
well, no, who was royal in Beverly Hills?
Wasn't it
Lisa Vanderpump's not royal.
No, the tall brunette lady. She was a duchess.
Oh, I think that's real. You're thinking New York.
Oh, maybe.
Don't make Andy Cohen come and kick your bottom.
No, don't want that to happen.
Don't start nothing. He's on YouTube. He could know.
It's true.
No.
Andy
Andy Cohen does not watch
everywhere.
the show. He's never going to know. So I'm going to soften this along here. I just wanted a little kiss of this coming up. Just saying.
I have to go read the comments. There's funny stuff out there happening.
What's happening?
I don't know, but there's nonsense and shenanigans afoot.
So this little bit of blue, be careful not to get too strong with it, or it can get away from you. And if it does get too strong, just come back with your zinc white and knock it back. See how you can do that? It'll show through, but you can knock it back.
They're running. I see what's going on. They're running the gambit out here from "You've Been Served" to Ozzy Osbourne. There's a whole lot of funny. A whole lot of funny. And for those viewers who are catching this at home in the post, definitely try to show up to our live events. We're putting some schedules up now. We're trying to get 3 events a week.
And we're going to try to improve our pacing. I know we're kind of like puttering along today. We're going to try to improve our pacing.
Yeah, we're just, today was our reboot day. We got the studio reset.
Just coming off of flu, so I'm sort of just painting at the pace I can paint today.
And luckily you can fast forward, pause, rewind.
I'm telling you what, John has so much envy that y'all can fast forward and pause and rewind me.
I don't know about that.
So I'm just coming along with a little bit of this blue and gray. You know it's true, sweetheart.
No, I like the live events.
I do too. No, I just meant in life.
Oh. Well.
Like, when I'm on about Lisa Vanderpump.
Well, when we are in post, I can.
And you do. So I'm just adding a little bit of this dark sort of mist along this edge here. I'm really, really liking. Trick to this is try to break up your patterns. Try not to clone. Right? You want it to feel natural, and natural is uneven. That's what natural is. Natural is uneven. Are we all ready to put in our beautiful twiggly trees?
I think they are ready to put in twiggly trees. But what if the tree, are they all twiggly?
Well, it's, they're like on a little island. They're having a pretty rough time.
So they're happy, you could say, that they're on an island.
You mean, are they a happy tree with a friend? Sure.
Are they little?
Are you trying to invoke the bob?
You can lead a horse to water.
Are you trying to invoke the bob? You're always invoking the bob. So I'm going to bring this tree up. Let's see if I can center on this today. So on the edge of my brush, I'm going to meandering, a little line up. And now I've told the story of that tree. Now what I know is that trees are thicker at the bottom and thinner at the top. So I'm going to fill this in, and this line is going to get thicker as I go into my island here. That's what I'm doing. I want this to be thicker as it goes in the island and get thinner as it goes up. Now this little tree here is foundational to that window scene we might be doing later. Doesn't hurt for the lighthouse either. These little skills are good ones to practice.
Oh, yeah.
Just good ones to practice. And a lot of silhouette paintings, they default to doing black. But when you start getting more sophisticated, you'll start defaulting to grayer colors.
Why is that?
Well, because you'll start to notice that things might not look black in the distance.
Oh.
Right? They are gray. It's very rare for a silhouette to read to your eye as black. And you don't really notice that till you get out and start painting it. So see, I'm graying this out. Graying it out. Now, I'm making sure I don't have too much paint loaded up on my brush. You can switch to your detail. I don't need to. I kind of got this, but you might need to switch to your detail brush, and if I need to, I'll switch.
Maybe you should do one with and one without.
Yeah.
Show us the...
Come here, and I'm going to meander a little branch coming this way. What I'm going to be doing is building the structure on which I will eventually be putting my leaves. So John would like me to switch out to a detail so I can show you detail. I've got a little detail brush here. That just means this is a brush that comes to a point that gives me an easier control over my line. So I can come up here telling little branch stories. Now one thing I'm very comfortable doing, and hopefully you can see that really well, is that if you notice my line will sometimes break and I don't worry about that. That is because things that are far in the distance, you know, and when the light is breaking them up, they may not show as easily. And so one way that you can show a thinner or farther away thing is letting the line break. That's a thing I do a lot in my painting. So I allow the break. Right now I'm just telling the story of this little tree that has survived a man-made lake. All right. He could be doing his little thing. Now some of you will like just the branches against this landscape before we ever put in the leaves. And guess what? That's completely okay. It's okay to get here and go, yeah, I don't want to put these leaves in. I am super pleased with just these branches. I'm right now just looking to tell my tree story.
There's
How are you guys feeling about that tree story?
Oh, the ladies are telling all sorts of fun tree stories.
Like they're painting tree stories, or they're just talking about, you know, gardening?
They're just, yeah, we'll call it that.
I'm just asking.
We'll call it talking about gardening.
Okay. Now I'm worried about what's not like that. You guys say anything.
It's a family-friendly show.
It's a family-friendly show. It's a family-friendly show. I'm going to pull this out here. Make sure this is going. You can even, while you've got this brush, make sure that you've got dashes of this color kind of happening here and there. It's nice to put those in. These are things I look for when I'm painting. I look like looking for power-ups. I look for the wins in my painting. Get a little zinc white. And I think I'll tell the story of a second little tree, his friend, this happy little tree's friend, the ones who survived the flooding.
You're going to pull the... There you go.
The ones that survived the flooding. And so I'm going to take him up here. He's a slight little guy. He's not as big as his buddy here. But they don't mind. They enjoy each other's company. Because they have this beautiful view. They enjoy where they live. There's a great value to enjoying where you live. And these trees know that. I have very wise trees in my paintings. I am always in my head, usually silently. Not until I started teaching YouTube stuff that I ever have started letting my stories out of my head. I am always telling the story of my world that I'm building. Always. In my head when I'm painting. I tell a whole eon of time of years that have gone by between these two trees.
So, I remember when I was painting my tree, you know, we're going to be kind to call it a tree. It's kind of one of those African trees, that, you know, that are thicker at the top than they are at the bottom. It's one of those really rare trees. But, you know, I noticed that part of my problem was my hand was shaking all the time.
So when your hand's shaking, you can buy a bridge to rest your hand on. Lindsay has a really good how to make a bridge where she made a stick with a little pole that you could rest your hand on, where you can just rest your wrist on a dry part of the canvas, or dry the canvas if you need to. Sometimes if your hand is shaking while you're waiting to build up your muscles for that hand, what you really got to do is rest your hand and steady it. So steady it how you need to. So like, you know, some people might, so like you could put in this pen right here and rest. Can you guys see that?
Yeah, you can totally see that.
So I can rest my wrist, even if I can't rest it on the canvas. Okay.
Now, after you have, like, you have such steady motion because of how much time you had painting, right?
Yeah.
Your arm strength's just really strong.
Yeah, I got one good arm. So the rest of me is not in Sherpa shape. This arm is like Popeye up in here.
You're doing like one-handed push-ups. And
it's just
you
got a lot of endurance in this one really weird little way.
You can jump up and do 30 pull-ups with that one arm.
Pulling
Pretty
some
impressive.
Zinc. This is so funny. I'm going to go ahead and start putting in these little distant leaves that are happening while we talk about my, and I'm just dabbing and making these little dabs. Now, one of the best things I ever heard, a lot of times in art class you just get nothing. It's just really seriously amazing how many people are out there teaching art, just, I don't know what they're sharing. But it's not what anybody would need to know to paint. But in one particular class that I thought was really good, this one instructor was trying to help people not make the lollipops, because most people kind of you make the last tree you ever made. So if like your last tree was like kindergarten, that's the tree you're making today.
Yeah.
So your brain just gives you the last information it had on the subject. You know, which is why it feels like, oh my gosh, I can't even draw a stick figure. Well, maybe the last time you drew a stick figure was kindergarten. Give it a minute. You've got to give your brain a chance to get some new information going about stick figures. So she said you have to leave room for birds to fly through.
That makes sense.
So I'm always looking for room for birds to fly through. Now, some of it needs to be solid, and I'm definitely always looking to break up the line, right, like you do. And I'm really using my zinc. This pulls my tones to light and dark. Can you see how it's doing that there? These tones are lighter because I have more zinc on there, and they're sort of translucent. I'm just, might even put some leaves up there. We're just trying to say these little clusters are off in the distance, being little leavies. To me, it feels like these leaves, this is just right at the cusp of winter when they're about to fall. You know how leaves get a little frail and almost transparent?
Yep.
And then you see them in the... You've done enough hunting, not to out you as a hunter.
I'm not really a hunter. I'm a walk in the woods and look at animals.
You used to be a hunter. But you've given that up.
Well, I've never shot at anything, though.
You haven't? I thought, like, your whole family, like, that was the whole thing, was to go out and kill stuff.
No, I have a very
So you're married
successful...
for 18 years and you think a thing, and it turns out not to be true.
Well, see, I have a very successful hunting family who has never successfully brought me hunting.
Really?
Yeah.
Because they're always going. I just assumed you had been in your youth.
Once or twice, but I mean, mostly it was, no, not really.
Not so much the killing.
Not so much. I mean, I've done some fishing. I've eaten some fish.
Fish are yummy.
Yep.
All right, so there you go. Things you learn.
I take pictures when I'm in the woods.
Oh, that's nice.
Remember we hunted some bear in Canada.
Oh, we did hunt some bear. Actually, we just were walking and ran into some bear in the bear's home.
Yeah,
Basically, what we did is we invaded some poor bear's home and just were like, please don't end me.
Yeah, don't, when you're walking in the woods taking, photography, you turn around, there's a bear there. The bear is as surprised to see you as you are to see the bear.
Yeah, but yeah. Bear wasn't as scared as we were.
No.
Bear was just deciding what to do about it. You know what I mean? Like, do I eat these hikers? Oh, eating them is so much trouble.
Then we got the music backpack.
Huh?
Then we got that music backpack.
We got the music backpack. I love the music backpack. So in Canada, we went walking all the time because it was just throw a rock, see beauty. Throw a rock, see beauty.
Fall down, see something pretty.
Yeah, pretty much Canada has the beauty. I'm really surprised nobody invades.
It's a Pacific Northwest thing.
Isn't that just looking lovely? This is really all we're doing here.
Yeah.
We have these leaves and then we only have one little touch left.
What you putting down there?
I'm putting more zinc white down.
Ah.
I'm using golden zinc white. But again, if you've got to use Liquitex mixing white, don't let it stop you.
Okay.
Don't let it stop. Don't you let it stop you. Paint with ketchup if you need to.
We'll do an episode where we use whiteout and ketchup and...
Wasn't it enough I painted with coffee? To those of you that don't know and haven't seen it, does anyone here not know I painted with coffee on a time-lapse episode?
Yeah, that was pretty cool. That was actually a really neat one.
Mm-hmm. I don't know how hard it is to find content. Like, does everybody know? Or are people still discovering it sometimes? I don't know.
Don't know?
And they're now volunteering the information because you went,
I was reading comments.
So I'm just got this bright and I'm just dabbing. I'm just creating this pattern. I'm not trying to tell the story of each individual leaf. I'm trying to tell the story of the relationships of the leaves and the way the light is coming through them.
Well, I just wanted to say thank you to, the over 70 people who have been hanging out with us.
70 people?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because straight up, Mimi and Melody Lane had their show today. It was like 128. So I got to feel pretty good having 70 people hanging out with me.
Yeah. We were over 100 there for a while.
Really?
Yeah, I think
How'd we lose him? Was I get talking?
Oh, it just goes up and down. I mean, people are stopping.
No, are you noticing like people are like fleeing at certain points or things I'm doing because maybe I should stop?
No, I think everyone's pretty much unanimously said that they've enjoyed what we're doing. So, it's at this point I don't think we're gonna stop. So we probably don't need to worry if they come or go for it. But
I'm just telling you what, when Claire and I were in that Periscope and we started to sing Four Non-Blondes, the room just emptied like crazy.
Oh,
I was like, Claire just started belting it in this like crazy voice and the room was just gone. I've never seen people leave a scope so fast. They were like, log out! Faster than when I logged out of that kid eating lunch naked. Not kid. Kid to me, young adult man eating lunch naked that I didn't really need to see. I just don't want to see anybody eating lunch naked. It's just not what I want to see, so I was not in that scope very long. But they left us singing Four Non-Blondes faster than I left that.
Well.
Just if you ever want to clear around.
So we will not
Sing
do. We will forego the Four Non-Blondes segment of the
sing
Sherpa
along.
Show.
Yeah, I'm not doing it again. Lesson learned.
Yeah.
Lesson learned.
Yep. So it's pretty good.
So you can see how I'm varying up the zinc. And I hope, normally in a lot of lessons on YouTube, what I would do is I'd say, do this, and then I would just do it on fast forward, and then we would do this, and I would just do it on fast forward. But I think sometimes, in the beginning phases, it's good to see me going through and finding my colors, like how I've got this dark here.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll keep picking up the zinc. How I work out these dark and light tones can be helpful. In workshops, this is a lot of what you come to a workshop for. Is just watch the artist work through their process because your brain is actually learning quite a lot. So this is like a workshop that you didn't have to pay a crazy amount of money for. Because it's free. And that's always helpful. Because we need you to spend money on art supplies.
Just so you can paint.
Just so you can paint.
And make art.
And you can make art.
And share it on Facebook so
And
I
share
can
it
see
on Facebook. See how that's coming together? Is that looking beautiful?
Yeah.
How are we feeling about that? How are you guys feeling about the tree?
I think that they're enjoying the tree. They say that there's a lot of stuff going on out there. I'm gonna just go back over and read some more.
There's a lot of stuff going on out there.
So a lot of people are very happy at the pace that you're going, I think, is what I'm seeing.
Oh, okay, cool. So we've got our thing.
Oh.
We're doing our thing over here on YouTube,
Yeah.
and we're all happy.
Yeah, they're good. They're happy with it. If you went any faster, you'd be like, wouldn't be able to keep up.
John, well,
great.
John's been in the studio with me when I've been on one of my painting like fogs.
Yeah.
Oh, do you want to see what they think about the holiday idea?
Oh, well, yeah, sure.
Like,
we
could test it out here. Is all
we
I'm
could
saying.
just we could ask our friends, see what they think. So we were thinking for Thanksgiving this year that we would do a live event, and actually we would try to do several live events, sort of back to back to back. That way we would have an afternoon with our family, because we know that a lot of our audience and the community members don't have extended family, or out of town, or don't have access to people. They may not be able to leave their homes to go visit. So we thought that if we would have a big virtual get together, and we'll perhaps do some little Sherpa house cooking, and then we'll do a painting, and then we'll do some Q&A after, and see if we can stretch that into some hours of fun for everyone.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll start putting up some.
We don't know if it's a good idea or a bad idea, but we've been discussing
I
it.
think it's yeah. So you guys let us know what you think, and we'll.
So our trees are in, and what do we feel about our
good.
trees? What do you guys think about the trees? If you like my apron, by the way, this is Sassy Apron on Etsy.
I missed that earlier. Someone was asking about that.
Did somebody ask about the apron?
Someone asking about your apron.
That is very cool because it's a cool apron.
Yeah.
Sassy Apron, love her on Etsy. She did our giveaway aprons because we've got a giveaway coming up.
Yeah, it looks like it looks like we got a handful of people who would be joining us for Thanksgiving if we did it.
Really? All right. Well, so we should do it.
Yeah, we should see if we should be doing that.
All right. Now I want you to get a nice, clean, fresh bright. You could do a detail brush too, but I like the edge of the bright. And I'm going to get some cad orange and a little of my cad yellow and my white. Let's see if I can show you this mix here. Maybe it does it better on this camera, right?
Yeah, that's pretty good.
So you can kind of see how it's not really mixed well together. And I'm going to just along this edge create some of this in the water. And I want even a little more orange.
You know, pull your close-up camera there a little bit.
Close-up camera, go. There it goes. So we've done this in a bunch of our paintings, and this is, you'll kind of catch that this is a skill you've got to sort of have. This ability to imagine light reflecting across the surface of the water. Not even imagine it. When you observe it, you'll see this happening. And a lot of times you're just like, how do I paint what I'm seeing? How do I paint that? See, sometimes I pull the reflection down a little bit. I go across and pull it down. Pull it down. Pull it down. See how it pulls down? Isn't that neat?
That is.
Pull it down.
So there's some.
Pull it down. Just showing you a different technique. I'm upping the technique on your water reflection now.
You want to zoom in on that a little more?
Yeah.
You should really zoom in on that. Fill that frame up. So it's a. Some of our European friends are. I'm not sure if they're heckling me or if there's actually just joking, but they're like, "So when's Thanksgiving?" Because,
Oh my goodness, I've been getting so much flack over this about like this Americanization of, I'm such the wrong person to be shouting this at because I'm barely in touch with what's happening here ever.
We don't we don't celebrate our own holidays. but it's
okay. So
November
basically,
26th.
if you're from Europe, Thanksgiving is when we murdered our indigenous people.
And then took the land for ourselves.
And took the land for ourselves, and we celebrate that every year.
And we said thanks.
And we make some people dress up as Native Americans, and some people dress up as pilgrims. And then basically their whole sin was feeding us.
Yeah.
Which was really you. At that time, it was you. They were feeding you. So see how I flipped that on you? History.
Yep.
So I'm pulling it down. Can you see how that gets pulled down just a little bit?
Zoom down just a bit there.
And I'm going to get a little white on here because I want a little bit of that in the, I want a little bit of the lighter.
You have to pull down there. You're starting to get a little off screen.
And you guys aren't, see, this looks like it's at an angle, but that's because of where we had to put the, but you don't want it in an angle. You don't want an angle. Just little dabs now. How do you think about that? We did it.
Yep.
We did it. We painted a painting. Yes, we did it. The Misty Morning. Oh, we did it. You did it. You painted this painting. Look at this painting. This is so cool. Can they see this?
They can, I think.
Oh, wait, make it not.
You go over to the close-up camera and zoom out. It's looking good.
It's a gorgeous painting. I would hang this on my wall.
There you go.
Yeah, it's still up. I like it better on the other one. How do they feel about it? Were they happy they did it?
I think everyone's pretty happy.
It was
There's
sort of
lots
a weird one. Are you guys ready to do the lion on Thursday? It's a lion.
So lots of wows and awesomes and beautifuls popping up.
So watch those limiting thoughts. Assume that you're in a video game and somebody put the things that you need, the tools that you need somewhere, and search for them in the same way you'd search in a video game, with optimism, with belief, with faith. And you'll be much more likely to find them.
Yeah.
Not that this is at all like Resident Evil, though Mark Muir would love it if it was. And you know, these are going to be up forever for years and years and years. And Mark's growing his own channel right now, so this will get funnier over time.
It will. So.
With love to Mark.
Love you guys.
Love you guys. Thank you. We will see you at the easel really soon. I hope you like this lesson.